Dear viewers, Namaskar. Welcome to Moksha Media. You are with Moksha Hiremat. Siddhanta Shikamani is the magnum opus of Veerashaivism. It tells us something about the 101 sthalas. These sthalas are important to attain moksha step by step. In the last episode, I told you something about danas, and those type of danas are very important in the life of a man, and they lead us from inhumanity to humanity. Anyhow, today I would like to tell you something about sthalas. Before that, I request you to subscribe and share the episode with others. You know, Siddhanta Shikamani identifies 6 sthalas. They are Bhakta Sthala, Maaheshwara Sthala, Prasadi Sthala, Pranalingi Sthala, Sharana Sthala, and Aikya Sthala. These main sthalas are divided into sub-sthalas, as Angasthalas and Lingasthalas each. These Angasthalas and Lingasthalas are again divided into sthalas as per their description and as per their goal. So, when we go through Siddhanta Shikamani, we can see these sthalas one by one. Of course, this Angasthala of the Maaheshwara Sthala, which I am going to deal with today, is in the 10th chapter of Siddhanta Shikamani. Of course, in this sthala, a person is committed to Sahajadana. One is loyal to Shiva, but not loyal to others. He devotes his entire life to Shiva. One's body, mind is full of Shiva and Shivamaya. It is intensified, and his desire for worldly things is diminished. Of course, Maaheshwara Sthala is the second sthala in the Siddhanta Shikamani. In that Maaheshwara Sthala, we have 9 Angasthalas. Those 9 Angasthalas are Maaheshwara Prashansaa Sthala, Linga Sthala, Linga Nishtha Sthala, Purvashaya Nirasana Sthala, Sarvadvaita Nirasana Sthala, Havana Nirasana Sthala, Ashtamurti Nirasana Sthala, Sarvaghatva Nirasana Sthala, Shivalinga, Shiva Jaganmaya Sthala, and Bhaktadehika Sthala, and etc. Of course, this 10th chapter contains 79 slokas. Today, I would like to describe to you the Maaheshwara Prashansaa Sthala in the Anganishta Sthala of Maaheshwara Sthala in Siddhanta Shikhamani. Of course, when we think of Maaheshwara Sthala, we think of God, that is Shiva. And Shiva is everything to one's devotees. A devotee is submitted to Shiva. He submitted his mind and body to Shiva. He thinks of Shiva. He speaks of Shiva. He talks of Shiva. Whenever he walks with Shiva. Whatever he listens with Shiva. Whatever one does, he does in the concept of Shiva. So, everything is Shivamaya in devotee's life. Whatever is given and whatever is taken from one's devotee, that Shiva is responsible. One can't do without Shiva's grace. Even a straw cannot move without the grace of Shiva. So that is why Bhakta realizes that only Shiva can make one to move towards mukti, that is moksha. Attaining moksha is very important in the life of a human being. So, one should try to have that moksha step by step. If you try to attain moksha immediately, you can't get it. It requires concepts, it requires devotion, it requires submission. More than that, it requires practice what you think and what you feel. Without practice, you cannot attain moksha. But what happens, most of us have the concept of Shiva, have the different incarnation of Shiva, but whenever we try to attain moksha, we forget the practice. But Siddhanta Shikhamani stresses on the practice. If one practices sthalas step by step, one fine day one would attain moksha. That is, moksha means a release from this earthly life. That is, attaining life beyond life. That is, relieving of all the pains and problems of human being. That is, relieving of problems and pains of human being and society is not that much of easy as we think. It requires study, understanding, and other things to have it. Especially if you understand the sthalas, especially 101 sthalas mentioned and described in Siddhanta Shikhamani, one can attain moksha in the final stage. So that Siddhanta Shikhamani leads us towards that knowledge of moksha, towards the attainment of moksha, towards going beyond life and etc. So, in order to attain moksha, one should have the Sthala, Maaheshwara, Prashansaa Sthala. This Maaheshwara, Prashansaa Sthala is the 16th Sthala in the Siddhanta Shikhamani. Of course, I have already told you this is there in the 10th chapter of Siddhanta Shikhamani, and that 10th chapter contains 79 slokas. Each slokas has its own meaning and description. Here in this Maaheshwara Prashansaa Sthala, a devotee should submit everything to God, that is Shiva. His life is full of Shiva. Everything is full of Shiva. He can't see anything without Shiva. If he speaks something, he speaks of Shiva. If he listens something, he listens of Shiva. If he talks of something, he talks of Shiva. So, in toto, his life is Shivamaya. That is, submission to Shiva is very important. So, without the grace of Shiva, even a straw cannot move. And if it moves, it is because of Shiva. So, a devotee, first and foremost, should submit to Shiva, and he should feel of Shiva, think of Shiva, talk of Shiva, listen to Shiva, and then only one nice day he would be at the feet of Shiva, and he would become and one would become Shiva oneself. Of course, one thinks that Shiva is everything. Shiva is omnipresent. Shiva is omnipotent. Shiva is omniscient. That is, devotee should Shiva the presence of Shiva everywhere. Shiva is present everywhere. Shiva is very powerful. He is Sarva Shakta. Shiva could do anything. And Shiva is omniscient. That Shiva knows everything. That is why Shiva is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. Of course, devotee thinks that Shiva is the creator. He is the status quo maintainer, and Shiva is the destroyer. So these three gunas are there in Shiva, and Shiva performs these three things as and when he feels, as and when he required it. That is why, in order to get moksha, one should follow these things. Without following these things, one should not attain moksha. That is what is said in Siddhanta Shikhamani. What do we do know? Most of us read Siddhanta Shikhamani. Most of us understand the sthalas mentioned in Siddhanta Shikhamani, but we stop there only. We do not go beyond that. If you go beyond that and practice whatever is described and whatever is mentioned in sthalas of Siddhanta Shikhamani, one can go towards moksha, and in final one can attain moksha. Attaining moksha is very important. That is, relieving of pain of the body and mind and of society is very important. That is, it is going beyond life of the life. But we can say this very easily. But attaining it is not that much of easy as we think, as we describe. It requires a kind of a practice. Without practice, you can't attain moksha. If you practice as you like, you can't get moksha. You should go step by step, one by one, sthala by sthala. Of course, Siddhanta Shikhamani traced 101 sthalas, and if one practices these sthalas one by one nice day he could attain moksha. That is what Siddhanta Shikhamani describes in Maaheshwara Prashansaa Sthala. Of course, I have already told you this Maaheshwara Prashansaa Sthala is the 16th sthala out of 101 sthala mentioned in Siddhanta Shikhamani. Dear viewers, I have tried my level best to convince to you in easy language whatever is described in Siddhanta Shikhamani. Of course, the text Siddhanta Shikhamani is written in the language of Sanskrit. But nowadays, you can get the version of Siddhanta Shikhamani in most of the languages in the world. And Kannada is not an exception to this. If you try to understand and follow what is described, of course, man becomes a real human being, and by that we can create a beautiful society in the world, and he can shape a beautiful life, not only in one's life but in others' life also. And of course, we know that Satyam Shivam Sundaram. Of course, if we remember this Satyam Shivam Sundaram and we practice as per this, of course, one can attain moksha. One would be at the feet of moksha. Of course, every text tells it. But Siddhanta Shikhamani goes beyond that. It tells one can be at the feet of Shiva, and one nice day one could become a Shiva oneself. Being at the feet of Shiva and becoming a Shiva is a beautiful concept explained in Siddhanta Shikhamani. So, we have to understand this properly and we try to practice it properly. Practicing is not that much of easy as we think, I have already told you. But whatever is possible can be done. So, in this text, we come to know how a man can become a real human being. So like this, Siddhanta Shikhamani goes on and on explaining sthalas step by step and one by one. Anyhow, of course, what is described in Siddhanta Shikhamani cannot be convinced very easily, but most of the speakers try their best to explain it using a simpler language which a common man can understand. And it helps a devotee to attain moksha. That is what we have to keep in our mind, and that is what we have to follow we have to follow and practice in our life. Dear viewers, subscribe and share it. Most of you listen but forget to subscribe. But subscribe and share it with others, so it helps to spread this humanly knowledge to others. See you in the next episode. Thank you and Shubham.